First and foremost, I have to say congratulations to Clemson. They obviously thoroughly outplayed us tonight. We're very disappointed in the way that we present ourselves. We did not play with the, I cannot fault our effort, but I thought our discipline in terms of doing things right made it very difficult for us to execute against a top-ranked team on the road. And we have to own that. We have to go back and watch the film tomorrow and see, why it looked like the way that it looked. But I do like the way that our guys stuck together. I like the way that there was not a panic on the sideline or at halftime or anything. And we will build from this, and we will put all of our focus on beating Pittsburgh next week. With that, I'll open for questions.
All right, first we're going to go to David Lake from InsideTheU. David, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I guess, from your vantage point, why did the offense get off to a slow start and then just never found a rhythm in general? What was Clemson doing?
Well, obviously they were very aggressive. We know that they've got an outstanding defense, and we just struggled to get the first down. We couldn't get the first down. We couldn't win P&10, the first play of a drive, to get our tempo going. We knew that making plays on the outside lanes of the football field was going to be a big key tonight, and they just about made every play, or we didn't make the plays on the outside part of the football field. So, combination of those type things, and then just some mistakes that we made. And that we just haven't made, throughout the course of the year, and we have to analyze that and certainly give credit to Clemson, but look as to why we performed the way that we performed.
Next, we're going to go to David Furones from the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. On that thought, I know Cameron Harris didn't have his first official carry until the 6:37 mark in the second quarter. Do you wish you would have gotten him more involved early, getting some touches? And then what do you attribute to the dominance up front on the line of scrimmage on both sides? And I have a follow after as well.
Well, a lot of it was just the way that they were pressuring our run game. So they were just basically sending a guy off the edge. And so, again, when you get into a game, you have to find out how people are going to play you. So it took us a drive or two to kind of make some adjustments to find out how the run game was being defended. Because as I mentioned before, people have generally played us differently than what we've seen on tapes. You got to get in the game. You got to find out. Certainly we made some adjustments, but never enough to be able to consistently run the football on them.
And my other question is, now you guys have kind of gotten used to these primetime games, I guess, if you will. Playing at night, now you have to pivot and play an afternoon game. Instead of playing a big rivalry game against FSU or number one Clemson, now you have to play the Pitts and the Virginias of the ACC. How do you now transition over to switching over to continue to play in a different atmosphere?
Well, nothing switches over. Even just that comment just shows a lot of times the arrogance that we have, the Pitts and the Virginias. As if they are somehow lesser than the last three times that we've taken the field in our league. Obviously Pitt gave us all we could handle a year ago, and Virginia won our side last year, despite the results today. But we play in the ACC where we should expect to play a lot of close competitive games. We just have to get better. And obviously, that goes without saying. But we have to present a better version of ourselves than we did tonight. And obviously, we've got a lot of respect for who Pitt is. They bring back an extraordinary amount of fourth and fifth year players on their football team, and obviously they'll be reeling from their results as well.
All right, next we're going to go to Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Diaz. How worried are you about Brevin's shoulder? I know that he had to leave there and was in the locker room.
Yeah, just, initial exams. I think it's, hopefully it's not too bad, so we'll find out more when we get back to Miami tomorrow. But certainly, he's such a key part of our offense. That was a big miss when he went out.
And then secondly, the targeting penalties. I know that it's something that you guys work on a ton to avoid, but third time for Amari and then the one by Keontra, just your thoughts on what happened on those plays.
That's how many times have I said it in this setting, how difficult it is to officiate the targeting. I've never seen someone hit someone in the stomach and have that call for targeting. It's becoming very difficult to hit a quarterback now. Amari, I thought, was very difficult on his because I do think he was being pushed from behind, and I think Amari was trying to miss Trevor Lawrence. If Amari's not trying to miss you, it's going to be a big hit. And, I've said over and over again, I do think that there should be a way to have intent, like a flagrant 1 and a flagrant 2. It's out of the officials on the field. It's out of their hands. But the one on Keontra Smith, I struggle to think of another one that I've seen similar where you hit a guy and where his helmet was and obviously we teach all of our guys with our eyes up, and I've got to get a closer look, than what they saw. But they called it, and obviously the depth. Our secondary missing Gervin in the first half, and you got to stick Brian Balaam, a true freshman, and in there at Death Valley. I think Brian's got a great future, but it was a baptism by fire for a couple of drives when he was in there in the second quarter.
Thanks. We have time for a few more. We're going to go to Tom D'Angelo from the Palm Beach Post. Tom, go ahead.
Hey, Manny, you've seen so many great quarterbacks in your career, game planned against so many of them. Just talk about Trevor Lawrence. What makes him great?
Well, he's obviously extraordinarily talented. He's got great toughness, and he's got the respect of everybody. I'm sure in their locker room, and is a great competitor. But as I said, and this is, I'm telling you, I can talk supposed on Trevor Lawrence all day, but Travis Etienne is the guy. Yeah. He's as good of a player as there is in college football, and obviously the whole plan on third down is don't let him throw the ball to Etienne, and that is easier said than done. Because when he gets in the open field, he's so dangerous, and again we've got to do better than what we did because it was that's when Trevor Lawrence was to throw the ball 5 yards on a swing to Etienne and then let him go. Those also count as passing yards. So we were unable to take away what they do best and what their strength was on third down. We made adjustments. We made adjustments. We got better at it as the game went on, but in those first couple drives, that was really tough.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, our last question for you comes from Susan Miller-Degnan from the Miami Herald. Susan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Derek King's play, how's he doing? I know he was sacked, I think, 4 times. He threw 2 picks. How is he? And also, do you feel confident that these guys will stick together and not fall apart? I know you had hard times last year.
Last year's team was a different team than this team. The guys in that locker room, they want to be together. There was no negativity during the game. There was no negativity at halftime, and there was a lot of tears. There's a lot of guys that have a lot of love for each other in that locker room right now. So, but Pitt's still a tough out anyway. So again, we've got to play our best to be able to beat them. Derek's disappointed. He's disappointed like all those other guys in that locker room were. But I have to say it was very difficult for whoever was playing quarterback for the University of Miami because we were having a difficult time handling their pressure up front, and we were having a difficult time getting open down the field. So it was a rough day for the offense, obviously all along. However, Derek is a competitor. And even, we just talked about when we got into the fourth quarter, let's put together a drive that we can be proud of. And what he did with his feet on that drive and willing himself into the end zone right there, that's who everybody in our locker room wants to follow. And that's who everybody in our locker room believes us. And that's why I don't sit around and, we wear the same uniforms as a team that played last year, but we're not those guys.
Thanks, man.